What is homeschooling? A guide for parents and students. More parents are now choosing to homeschool instead of sending their children to public or private schools. Learn more about the homeschooling movement and what's involved when parents educate their kids at home. Homeschooling is a progressive movement around the country and the world, in which parents educate their children at home instead of sending them to a traditional public or private school. Families choose to homeschool for a variety of reasons, including dissatisfaction with the educational options available, different religious or educational philosophies, and the belief that children are not progressing within the traditional school structure. The homeschooling movement began growing in the 1970s, when some popular authors and researchers, such as John Holt and Dorothy and Raymond Moore, started writing about educational reform. Some states have few or no requirements, others ask for portfolio reviews or standardized testing at certain intervals. According to Holt, author of the best-selling book Teach Your Own, the most important thing parents need to homeschool their children is to like them, enjoy their company, their physical presence, their energy, foolishness, and passion. In almost all areas of the country, parents do not need an education degree to homeschool. Those with young children who have never attended a traditional classroom can begin a home education program when their child turns school age. The process is slightly different for parents who have kids in school already and then decide to homeschool. The letter should describe the parent's intent to remove a child from school to begin homeschooling. The educational philosophy a homeschooling family chooses will significantly influence the structure of their days. Homeschoolers have the freedom to blend ideas that best meet their children's needs. You might also be wondering if homeschoolers follow the public school calendar year. In fact, homeschoolers have complete freedom over the structure of their school year. Catalogs are filled with a plethora of options based on different educational philosophies, learning approaches, the amount of time a homeschool teacher should devote to daily instruction, and so on. Subjects typically taught include the standard disciplines followed in a traditional school program as well as those that capitalize on the child's interests. Families that homeschool often combine certain subjects that are not necessarily grade or age specific, such as history, literature, and the arts. For studies in other subjects, such as math and reading, a homeschooling parent might tutor each child one-on-one to meet the student's individual needs. Are homeschooled kids more behind or ahead than public school kids? In a study done by the National Home Education Research Institute, homeschoolers had an average standardized test score in the 87th percentile, compared to the average score in the 50th percentile by children in public schools. Government-funded programs vary widely from state to state, but the majority of homeschooling families fund their children's studies themselves. In that case, the state pays for specific resources in exchange for the homeschool meeting certain requirements to remain in the program. Homeschoolers in most states and regions have access to an array of resources and social networks. Group work that requires the sick parent's direct involvement may be cancelled for the day, but the parent could still supervise any individual work the child needs to do, like penmanship or reading beside mom in bed. In many ways, homeschooling lessens the need for traditional homework often required by schools, particularly for elementary school-age kids. Without 20 or more children in one class, schoolwork can often be completed in a shorter time frame during the school day, eliminating the need for extra work afterward. Homeschool children, especially as they grow older, often attend more traditional classes, giving them experience in completing more typical homework assignments. Some public schools allow homeschoolers to attend certain classes that they choose. As they get older, homeschooled kids may enroll in community college classes and begin their college studies early. Although grades in certain subjects are not always needed, many families do administer graded tests, some through computer programs. The homeschooling environment allows children to progress at their own pace until they have mastered the necessary materials. Do homeschooled kids need to take standardized or state-mandated tests in order to move to the next grade or to graduate? Other homeschoolers believe there is no need for such testing until a child reaches high school. Families may choose to homeschool throughout their children's education, or they may do so for only a few years before transferring their kids back into a mainstream school system.